And as always, we're going to be looking for accurate context, good risk management, and always exercising good patience.
Everybody who's traded has gone through periods of time where their strategy hasn't worked.
Where if not a hard stop, you should reevaluate the trades you're in based on time.
That's what we're here for, is to put ourselves in the best success. A trading routine does that, builds that habit, lets you know what to work on, what to reflect on, and what to improve on the next day.
All right, welcome back, everybody. It's time for Make HOAG Money. This is me. This is the CFTC disclaimer. We are not suggesting the purchase or sale of any product or security today. This is Make HOAG Money. You guys are bringing the trade ideas to try and make me money. But we have to remember that there is significant risk in futures trading. We should only be using risk capital, which to me is money that I can afford to lose. One of the reasons we like Top Step so much is we're going to put up the risk capital for you once you're successful in the trading combine. There is no expectation for performance during this. This is a live account. We are trading the micro S&Ps. There is always the idea that hypothetical or simulated performance results have certain limitations, and to me the biggest limitation is the fact that there's no accountability, no rules, and no consequences in some random simulated account. You don't know how you're going to perform until you get into the trading combine, where there's a little bit of skin in the game, or God forbid, fund your own account without having the knowledge and strategies in place before you do so. The rules for Make HOAG Money are simple. We expect kindness and respect above everything. There's always differences of opinions and a million ways to skin a cat. That's one of the reasons these markets are so good, is that difference of opinion. I'm going to be asking a couple of people to speak today if you would like to. I'm not going to force anybody to. But it's always more interested when we've got a couple of voices. My brother Randolph is down in Mexico having a little vacation right now, so he's not going to be here. We're all going to be involved in these decisions. We're going to vote in the Zoom meeting only. You won't be able to vote on the YouTube, but I will be paying attention to the chats on both sides. We're going to use those chat rooms to discuss those trades. If you are thinking about a trade and you are enabled to speak, you will be able to share your charts to help with that context. Focus is going to be on the MES for opportunities. We're not going to be trading just to trade. A very smart trader reminded me to put that in the rules, so thank you very much. We're not going to be taking losing trades, which is, of course, a joke. We all know that there are going to be losses in trading. We got to cut them and move on. Vital feedback, vital on Make HOAG Money. We're planning on making some changes in the coming weeks, and we're hoping that you're going to enjoy them. Let's get the platform up here real quick and kind of go over the bigger context here. We are accepting at higher prices. This is the overnight profile here. This is yesterday's high. We're going to be opening with a gap. Gap rules say if we can't close the gap relatively early, a subjective term, of course, we look for opportunities in the direction of the gap. The market is opening out of range and out of balance from yesterday. One of the first things I'm going to be asking is, do we want to take the opening range trade? This is the 30-minute chart. I can put a 5-minute chart on. We can also watch the open on a 1-minute chart. People seem to like this shorter time frame chart. We've got the profiles to keep us in the 30-minute time frame. So first question, is anybody going to want to speak? Let me know. You can tell me either in the chat or you can raise your hand in the attendees side. It is always a pleasure to be with everyone. I've got Alejandro and Steven saying good morning. We've got George. Let me send the poll out to see if we're going to take the opening range trade. You can vote now. We've got George here, Rusty Golfer, Kevin, Phil, House of Kings, and JD Royalty, Mango Heist. Good morning, good everyone. I've never seen House of Kings. Says that's the wrong account. Be right back. Well, welcome anyway. Hello, Michael, Ryan. Good morning. So we've got about 61 participating. Friday, I can share my charts and join the Zoom. We don't do Make Hogue Money on Fridays, Kevin, unfortunately. Maybe that's something that's going to change for us. Morning again, Will. Okay, so we are about a minute away. Here's the poll. 64% say yes. So we're going to try and take the opening range trade as long as it's reasonable. We try and take it if the opening minute, if that first minute is... Oh, I don't think I have that chart up anymore. I closed it. Oh, man. Okay, so ES H. Okay, we're going 1 minute. I don't have the indicator on here just yet, so we're going to watch that first minute. You heard that. Wow. JT. Lacey's like all the way in the kitchen. She's 20 feet away, slurping up some water, and you heard that. Lance, good morning. Good morning, Vince. Okay, here we go. We're coming into the first minute. Here it is. Yeah, Lacey was just slurping up that water. So our high 60, our low 58, 61 to 58. Right now we are well within the 5-point parameters. 61 to 57 quarter, 61 to 57, 61. We got about 30 seconds left. We're expanding the opening range now. Unfortunately, 57 to 62, we are at 5 points. So 57. And all right, so 63 is where we broke out. So I'm going to try and get in there if it'll let us. We missed the breakout of the opening range. We're going to see if we can get filled at the high of the opening range, which is 62.75. We're going to try and squeak in here at 63 if the market will come back to us. James says, seems like an initiative buying day. Yes, it certainly does. We are above yesterday's range. Any buyers up here are going to certainly be initiative buyers. They are buying not because it's cheap, because they are afraid they're going to lose more money, or they're afraid they're going to miss the big upside move. So we're going to try and stay patient here and see if we can't get in at the high of the opening range. Let's see if it'll let us in here. Okay, we've already got some pretty positive delta here, which I believe this is going to be correct. I need to F-bomb this. There we go. There's the 30. And it took off my... Oh, come on. It took off all my indicators. Oh, man. It's not letting us in here. Oh, we're in. Oh, I didn't even see that. We got filled at 63. So our stop is at 57, which is below the low of the opening range. Oh, that's not what I wanted to do. we go. Okay, so we've successfully gotten into the opening range on a pullback to the opening range. The buying this week wasn't pea shooters, right? So I imagine they're protecting their position. Well, if we look at open interest for this week, we've had Monday a pretty big open interest increase, Tuesday a loss. Initially for Wednesday, we saw a small increase of 4,400. So it's not really looking like there's too much longer time frame activity, just some kind of posturing. Trying to get things fixed here that I screwed up this morning. A couple of my indicators are not representing here. Okay, we are back inside the opening range here now. Our stop is just below, but I like to move it about 4 ticks in case they come and take the stops at the bottom of the opening range, which we know are there. So it expands our risk just a little bit. We've got 7 points of risk on this trade. But if the opening range remains the low, this market could certainly continue the move to the upside. We've got weekly kick up high up here at 40.76. So next Tuesday on the early Make HOAG Money session, we're going to have my good friend Matt Hoyt talk about the Andrews Pitchfork, the tool that he uses. So it's going to be an interesting session for us on Monday. Right. Still just wondering if anybody wants to join me and come up with some trade ideas. Jason, I don't look at the 1 minute chart except for on that opening range. That 1 minute opening range would be the only time I'd really be thinking about looking at the 1 minute chart. Because it still gives me heart palpitations. Our overnight high is just over where we're long. We've got VWAP 40.50, 40.49 right now. We're above it. This is again the 30-minute chart. Amanda, it's my pleasure. My pleasure. Do we put an order in here at 40.76 weekly kickoff high to get out? We're a tick short of it. Almost 2-1, it looks like. And we'll see what happens here. Travis. Hey, I'm getting some company. Thanks, Travis. It's a fan favorite. Took over when I lost internet one day. He's trying to steal my job.
Hey, Hoag. Hey, everyone.
How you doing?
Hey, I'm embracing the experience as always.
Yeah, right. I love that. I love that.
Yeah.
How are things?
Hey, things are going. Yeah, happy to join you here. So, I was actually looking at this area that I was saying this. I have a level here, 63.50 to about 73.25, somewhere in there. So basically 63 to 73 was an important zone I was looking at to see what it does as far as resistance is concerned. So if it can get through this, and obviously things look very strong this morning.
So far, so good, right?
Right, yeah. So if it can break above 73, then I'm bullish all the way to an 86 to 94 range.
So 40, 86 to 94 above that, above your zone here, which
Right.
40, 76 is kind of weekly kickoff high. That's the kind of upper extreme of the zone you're looking at.
Yeah, yep, it is. So,
Okay.
So yeah, I like taking that as a profit on the opening range trade.
Mm-hmm.
And if we can get a pullback, if it breaks above the 73, and if it hits the 76 and pulls back to 73, but then continues
We look
higher,
for
then-
we as
Reload.
Randolph says, reload.
exactly.
All right, sounds good.
Got it.
Got a question here from James. Is the initial balance a subjective term, or is it universally considered the first hour of trading? I've always looked at it as the first hour of trading. It's it populates on the chart as the first hour of trading. You can change that. In the original book, Mind Over Markets, Jim Dalton says that the initial balance is the first hour of trade. He has changed his view on a few things, and he's a lot more subjective with how the opening range can be handled. Now, one of the things that he does say in the S&Ps, if the market is extending the range at 1 hour, that expands the initial balance. So a bit subjective again, right? Then we just put in a new high and came off pretty hard. It's your resistance zone.
Yeah, and 59 is the open price, so that's really my bottom.
And here we are.
Yeah.
Do we add?
I don't know. That's kind of unprecedented for Make HOAG Money, isn't it?
Well, I mean, this whole initial balance is a zone, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Well,
So-
yeah, it's like I was saying. This is my
So
This is my area.
we're polling if we add. And if we can get back down to 59, we'll do that. Oops. There we go.
And the other thing is it's cheap because we're
Yeah.
right below that anyway. So
So with 43% of the participants voting, we're at 63% yes. So I'm going to call that you can see now that 63% agree with adding to the long up against this opening price.
and what was the bottom of the opening range?
Opening range.
The 1 minute.
Yeah, I got to bring that up. Hang on.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I didn't know.
I had it separate,
There you go.
and opening range was 40, 57 quarter.
Okay, yeah. So that will certainly be the true test. And
So-
and like you said,
So now
try to take
we
out some of the stops.
we just bought that one at 59.
Oh, perfect.
So we're long too. Here is the poll for those of you on YouTube that are watching. 63 liked that idea of adding at 59. Stop sharing.
And so now that we have multiple contracts, my first target is at 73 level. So that's where I would take the one of the contracts off. Take profit.
Okay. Or we'll go 72 and a half.
There you go.
I always go a little short of where it might go.
Yeah, I do too.
So Travis, I made it so you're able to vote now.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I wasn't able to vote in the last one.
Yeah, I have to.
My vote was yes.
I have to let you. Here we are. Here's that low. 57 quarter. Likely to be a few stops down there. That's why I always extend the stop a few ticks past that. There we are. We just hit those stops, and now we're out.
Okay.
Wah, wah, wah.
Well, that's what happens on the opening range trade. You know, it's never a.
Yeah. Yeah, it's okay. I'm okay with it. It was worth the try, because if it did continue leaving the opening range at the low of the session, we would have had great trade location.
Yeah, and the risk reward is really good.
Sarah Hall is saying, wait for a bigger pullback.
Always. So I am looking for. I have another level, 45 to 34. That's kind of where we played overnight.
Right.
That's another level that we've been using as a support and resistance level. So, and then below that, 22 to 17 is a very important support level, and where I would look for longs if we ever.
What was your first area there?
Starts at 45, 44.50, and then goes down to 34.25. There was a low. There was some support overnight. There's a low here, 34.25. So that's kind of the bottom of that. That's next range. So honestly, I'll pull back to the 45 area. Would be another place I'd look to go long at this point in time, because I'm
40,
looking
45.
Yeah. That's where we spiked down to during the when the numbers came out. Pre-market.
Here's the 5 minute. Let's try that. 40. 37.
Yeah, that spiked down to 37, I think. Yeah, 37 even. But if you look overnight, about midnight to 3 a.m. Central Time, that was an area.
Right
that
here.
45 was an important area.
Right here.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, so now, on 59, that open price is going to be important resistance.
Oops.
And it might be the market shifting lower if it can't get a game back above that opening range.
I mean, my thought about this is we've got some pretty considerable overnight longs. Now, if this is an overnight inventory adjustment and it can't close the gap, we're going to be looking for opportunities down here somewhere. I like your 45.
Yeah.
Because then, if we do close the gap, that may be telling us we're possibly wrong. But, if this thing continues to kind of push lower, I think we can stay patient. If it I mean, even a breakout above the current high could be something we could go with, because if this is overnight inventory, once they're done, I wish we could see the delta. This thing's messing with me.
Always the gremlins.
Yeah.
Michael just said it's over 6,000.
There it is.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, and okay, this is showing positive 9. I don't know if that's correct.
Vincent has positive 3,000. GM just pointed out we just retraced to the full session of VWAP.
session 8. Huh. Oh, this is the friggin' daily. What am I doing? Okay, now we've got it. 2,400, I think that's about right, right? VWAP. I got this thing a whole mess today here, don't I? Alrighty.
All right, we're getting back to this first level here.
Mm-hmm. $40.30 for a long. Fred Decker is saying, if we do get down there, I will like the play with the overnight low.
I'd want to see it get towards that 22 though, because that was an important level. If it's going to even get to the 30. Although anywhere in there could be an opportunity. Just kind of depends on the price action.
Darren saying 45 is also the 200 EMA on the 2-minute chart.
It's not holding it at the moment.
It's overnight inventory. 40.32 settlement. Serious sell-off. Be interested to see what happens to the lower support levels. Yeah, this sell-off, while it appears serious, is it short time frame overnight inventory adjustment?
Right. And it's kind of stalling here, so the 45 might be a good area to
Well, I just got us in.
take a long, yeah.
We'll get out at the gap close. Just to try it. I know we didn't vote on it. I'm breaking the rules. I'm sorry.
Shame on you.
I know. Best trades often fly right in the face of the most recent market activity. Breaking the law, breaking the law. JD, oh, House of Kings is you. That's you, JD Royalty. I did not know that. Thank you for letting me know. Sarah Hall was right to wait for a bigger pullback. Trying to close the gap on the SPX, Frozen Gumwad is saying. I need to change the name to HOAG Make Money. No, you guys have got to make me money. we have our good friend Travis here that was talking about this area for a long.
Yep.
So this is his idea. So if it doesn't work, I get to blame him.
That's right. I owe you more furnace money. And Steve mentioned an exit at 56, and yeah, that 59 open price would be my first target. So a little below that and a little below the open range, that would probably be a good place to take profit.
So we're not looking to marry this. We're looking pretty short term.
Well, yeah, I don't know if we're going to be able to extend above that. You know, this, again, what I would do is really hope for a break above 45 and maybe a retest of 45 and add. And then first target would be, you know, the opening range, and then hold a runner to see if it does break out higher. Kind of just depends on what your time frame is. And
Yeah, I'm usually a longer time frame than most of the people here, which is fine. This is your thing. Maybe we vote.
that would be the best way to do it.
Here we can vote fish or cut bait.
You have the old results up.
Oh, I do?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Fish or cut bait. Yeah, we do have new home sales in 5 minutes. Thank you for reminding me, JT. Wow. See if we get 50% participation. Well, we're only getting 43% of participation, but we're not liking this trade. 63% say cut bait. Well, we'll cut bait.
It's not working.
We'll cut bait. It's out. Here's the results if you want to see. 63%. Brett got short at 54, out at 42.75. Why don't you tell us, Brett?
Nice trade, Brett.
Nice job. Uh-oh. Must be dogs out in the field. Okay, here's our gap close.
Yep. And like I mentioned, that 34 was the bottom of this little range here, so.
Do we want to think about taking a long there? Oops. Down here around your 34 level, I mean, the gap close sometimes can be supportive. That can be just enough to unravel the overnight inventory. James, fortune favors the bold. Or do we see if we get a good test of the overnight low? A lot of folks like this idea. We're only getting 34% participation, though. There must be a coyote or a dog out in the backyard. At least he's freaking.
Is she? So overnight low is
28 quarter.
Yeah, that was right where it started. So, near the beginning.
So 40% participated, like the idea of looking for a long down here. So, well, we got the gap close. If that's supportive, I'm just going to get into it. 34. If we're going to hold our current low, we do have the number at 10 o'clock. So,
Yeah, that'll make it a little iffy, possibly.
just hoping this doesn't turn into one of those days where I'm thinking long and the opposite happens.
Right.
But we'll take that as it comes. In about 1 minute for this number to come out. Let's watch the dome. It's getting a little thin. Oh, lazy, oh, lazy. I know, I can't take you out there right now to yell at the dogs that are out there. I know. Hey. It's getting thin. Getting thin.
Yeah, it is.
And it's out. Lower than expected by 1,000. They did adjust last month's to 102,000 from, I'm sorry, 602,000 from 640,000. So that's a pretty big drop from last month's. Okay, starting to get the blood back in it here. NASDAQ still holds a gap up. Thank you, Chad. NASDAQ never closed the gap. We're digesting. We're digesting. A lot of eyes on this. A lot of eyes. A lot of eyes on this. A lot of comments on YouTube about the assumption that the Fed may be looking at the market not slowing down fast enough.
Yeah. That's kind of my concern too. Things are still a little too hot for what they're trying to do. I think we've we've seen like the heights, the spikes of like inflation and things of that nature, but I don't think it's going to come down far enough, quickly enough. I think that'll drag out a little longer than they want.
Yeah, of course. It's always going to. Everybody's so impatient, right?
Exactly.
Well, Steve, the big guys are probably just kind of watching to see what happens here. The dome is still pretty thin. We were all double digits here, but it's a little slow to get the blood back in this market. Are we seeing Delta the same here, right around 300 positive? Vince?
That's pretty neutral if it is.
Yeah, it is.
Yep. All right.
Warren, would you scale in and out of a trade? I don't like scaling into trades, especially if it's going against me, kind of what we did today, but that was more of a zone that we were looking at with the opening range. So accumulating in an inventory in a zone to me is different than adding to a losing trade. But typically, I'm usually all in, all out, Warren. Sometimes if I have multiples on, I'll let one run just to see what happens. But most of the time, I'll all in or all out. Right, JM. Semantic distinction. Right. I'm not adding to a loser. I'm accumulating an inventory in a zone. That's really kind of, what's the difference? Well, everything is a zone. Even good levels are usually a zone. Sometimes the market will stop short. Sometimes it'll go through. Doesn't mean that the level's not going to benefit. So if I have a zone like that, like an opening range, that gives me reference to limit risk. Yeah, sure. The difference is when you start adding below your prior stop, right? Yeah. You know where you're going to get out. And you're, looking to make sure you're in. That first entry is always FOMO. Yeah, Fred, you were right. Took it back to settlement. Those overnight longs. And the opening range didn't work. That should have been a signal for us to maybe look for the short to get down to that level.
Shoulda, woulda, coulda.
Yeah. Well, right now we're in a valid trade that I still think might continue. Who knows?
Yeah, at this point, it's either going to be a breakout above 45 or a breakdown below 34.
Getting pulled back pretty stiffly here. Still only single digits here. Still not seeing big players. There's 100. Liquidity is still relatively low.
Yeah, and if the delta is that muted, then
Yeah,
there's
there's
not a lot of
nothing really going on. So are we looking if this thing does continue to rotate higher at any kind of profit target?
Well, that's what I was saying. The back towards the opening range would be my first target. So the 59 open price or a little below that. Otherwise, back into that range.
Do we go short of that? We may just get stopped out here. Maybe moot. We'll just leave it. And we got a lot of access up here early in the session.
Vince is saying take profit and
51.
take a short at 51.
Half back.
That's probably around VWAP still too, huh?
46.
Okay.
That's your level, 45, 46.
Yeah.
Hmm. 35 is last week's high. 35 quarter, I think. JM saying 34 stop is quite vulnerable. One tick test below Europe overnight low.
Yeah, I think that's what I was looking at. Yeah,
Right
34.
here. Right here. Yeah, I can pick them, can't I?
Well, that just emphasizes the fact that everything is a zone. There's
Right.
not everything's an exact number. It's a range of area.
Here we are. So if we're still in this trade at 9:20 when I have to go, do we agree that we're just going to leave the stop, leave this target, and see which one gets hit? What do we think? Say yes, say no.
I still like to hold a little higher than that, but if that's a little, the profit target's a little too light. It might turn around there for sure, but
Target
I'd like to hold it towards the opening range.
back up near 59.
Yeah.
Getting a lot of no's. Do we like 59 better for a profit target?
Yeah, I'm wondering what the no's want to do.
So far, the no's are ahead. Do we like this profit target better? Yes, no? Fred says price action is just chopping around.
Yeah, it sure is.
We got just neutral delta here. This is just brutal.
GM doesn't like the trade, so you're saying just get out of the trade right now, bail on it.
Do we fish or cut bait? Michael says weak low.
Like I said, I'm waiting to break out above 45 or below 34 to decide
Either direction.
either direction, right? But I'm in the long, so I'm holding that until I get proved otherwise.
Josh says fish. We're getting 60% say fish.
The eyes have it.
That's more than 50% participation, 65-35. Here's the results. It's funny. You can see the attenuations on fish or cut bait. When it was below entry, cut bait was winning. When it's above entry, fish wins.
That's funny.
So we'll leave it as it is. And
Well, now we need to decide the profit target.
well, we've got it at 59. Your Mr. Valentine has set the price.
Yeah, but Beaks over there might have some inside information I don't know about.
Beaks. Whatever happened to that guy? I think Randolph is paying him off in Mexico right now.
Yeah, right.
Here's your 45.
Yeah, it might just chop around in this area for another 3 hours. Might just do it the rest of the day.
Yeah, of course, because we've got a position on.
That's right.
It's going to do nothing. No, we didn't. We didn't buy it. Stevens, article there. Somebody bought the film royalties to Trading Places.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
All right, Steve keeps saying
reverse at 52. Well, we had Vince say that too.
Yeah, he did.
So we'll see if we
51
get
something.
we'll get 1.5s and see if we get it. Then we'll call this a session. I mean, it's a little around 2-1 here. Yeah, JT agrees. We got recent delta congruent with direction. Wouldn't that be a victorious end to make HOAG money to get hit on that profit target right at the end of the session?
Just as we're about to leave.
I can hear the Rocky music. I'm giving it some inspiration. Hey, there we go. Alrighty then. Well, that got our previous 2 trades losses taken care of.
Beautiful.
I remember that movie. Everybody was crazy about Rocky. Nice. All right. Well, gotta go.
Session.
Travis, thanks for joining me. It's so
My
nice.
pleasure as always.
It's so nice to have somebody to talk to. Thank you all for joining us. Nice job today. What's today? Thursday. So next Monday will be the next Make HOAG Money. Looking forward to seeing you all there.
Hey, Hoag, is that a presentation, the second part of that presentation today?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Yes, it is. I should
I didn't get a link for yesterday's.
I should
session,
probably give you everybody the link today, because there was some confusion with the link and one thing led to another, and we were on our way to the bingo parlor and one thing got led to another. And there's on YouTube. Here is on everyone. Here is the link to today's session. And again, we apologize. It will be available on YouTube soon. We got a special present for you today, too, I think. And we'll see you all there.
Awesome. Make it a great day, everyone.
Have a good one. Bye now.